Hi there. I feel like that was almost a great setup for what I'm about to say, which is I'm very uncoordinated. I'm not talking about Zooey Deschanel or Mia Thermopolis from Princess Diaries. I'm talking about shit, you just fell down those stairs, kind of klutzy. It was so bad when I was a little kid that I got referred to a gross motor skills specialist. Yeah, her name was Nan. She used to pull me out of class once a week, and we would go and have those blocks that you'd put on your feet and go over hurdles. It was like easier gym class, and I loved it. Felt really good about it. It wasn't until years later when my mom explained to me what was going on that I really understood why my gym teacher would stay extra close to me during the yearly challenge course. It's not because I was great at walking across, foot-long balance beams. It's because he was concerned about paperwork and crying children and injuries. There are a lot of things that I'm just not good at because of it. I am a perfect storm of poor depth perception and awkward limbs and just really bad at a lot of things because of it. That slaps game that you play as a kid, can't do that. My parents were ski instructors. I can't do that. My sister did gymnastics, and fuck no. There are a lot of things from, when you had to practice graduation, standing up and everything, I'm the fucker that made you had to do that because I couldn't get it. I was not able to stand in order. I would shake with the wrong hand. And so I'm that idiot. And I wish I could say it wasn't an act. Because I have brain cells, I promise, but it just doesn't connect to my limbs. And so I'm that idiot that's, in the hallway doing that dance for way too long because I can't figure out which way you're gonna go. I'm just always in the wrong spot. But occasionally, I can be surprisingly graceful. It's that moment where you throw the apple core out of the car and it hits a road sign and you're like, yeah. Or you reach your hand up in a game of Nerf darts and you catch one. I can do that very rarely. So this story is one of those occasions. And to fully understand this story, you have to understand that I'm not from around here. I am Massachusetts born and bred. And so, like you Minnesotans and North Dakotans, I'm sure you've heard some stereotypes about where you come from. So as a masshole, I've definitely heard that I run on Duncan, that I apologize, I park the car in Harvard Yard, that we're brusque and we're cold and we live fast and we talk fast. And like most stereotypes, it's just not true. I hate Duncan. I park my car in normal places and things like that. And so there's that piece of it. So we decided as a family, it was my step-grandparents, sorry, I keep hitting this, it goes along with the uncoordination. And so their 50th wedding anniversary was happening, and they love Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And they decided to bring all the grandkids and all of the kids and the great-grandkids down with them on this trip, and they were gonna get us all there by renting minivans. I'm sure it was a lovely sentiment to include everybody and very economical, but my family included 3 children under the age of 5 at that point, and it was a 16-hour car ride down there and a 16-hour car ride back. It's about as close to hell as I can describe. Just imagine yelling, crying, dirty diapers, bad bathroom pit stops, a lot of "are we there yet?" and a lot of snacks and mind-numbing children TV shows and endless traffic. I was trying to think of a way to talk about this traffic, and I was told that the Big Dig and the New Jersey Turnpike were bad references because they're East Coast references, but just imagine a Bison football game and getting down University for days. Just that's how long it took. So hours after we were supposed to get there, we finally did get there. And we had a lovely time. And so when it came time to come back, we decided to take a shortcut suggested by the GPS. And it was lying, is really what it was doing. Sometimes I think they get a mind of their own, and had decided that we had not been so kind to it. I think it was sick of the children too, so decided to punish us for it. So we're driving in places on the mid-Atlantic that make North Dakota look busy, and end up coming up to an Arby's on the horizon, and we rejoiced in a way that nobody's rejoiced about an Arby's ever. Because it was the first thing we had seen in a long time. So I go to go pee and get out of the car and stretch and everything, and my 2-year-old sister, Amelia, we call her Mimi, decided she wanted to go with me. And if a 2-year-old wants to do something and they're currently happy and you're on a 16-hour road trip, you do what they want. So I untangled her from the car seat and went to go inside carrying her square in front of me like you would a paper bag of groceries. So I wear flip-flops in the summer, and as people who wear flip-flops know, they sort of flop off of your foot by a little bit when you step. And so I'm carrying her and going towards the curb, and it hits the curb, the bottom of my shoe, and I'm going down. There's just no way that that's not happening. And so it was one of those moments that stretches on forever. Just like the traffic did, and it's going through my head. It's like one of those road runner and coyote things. I'm going to squish Mimi with my large body and her tiny 2-year-old body just being a pancake in the end. And so these dread scenarios are going through my head as I'm falling in slow motion. And this is where one of those stunning moments of grace just happens. And I realize that as I'm going forward, I can kind of tuck her underneath my crotch and between my legs and go forward, and she'll be fine. And so, like a dancer, I kind of maneuver to do this. It's kind of like an oh, and I am going through that. It was beautiful. If you've seen Toy Story, if you haven't seen Toy Story, you don't have a soul. But if you've seen Toy Story, there's that whole argument about falling with style, and that's what I was doing. I was flying, I was falling with style, and Mimi ends up unharmed, and I pin my own arms under my torso and smack my face on the ground, scuffing it quite badly. So as I kind of rejoice at this moment of great grace in falling, the people in the parking lot don't really see that. They see me chuck down a 2-year-old and fall over. And so my family comes running over, and this woman who had just pulled in comes sprinting out of this white truck from the passenger side. And as my stepdad takes care of Amelia, who's bewildered but unharmed, she goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm pretty sure everyone's had this moment where you stub your toe and somebody asks if you're okay, and the only things you can think to say are the most profane insults that you know. And so I muster up all my remaining strength to say, "I'm fine," and go to get up to lick my wounds in peace. And cry in the bathroom. And so she goes to help me and tries to lift my arm. And I thought I said, "Please don't do that." And really, it apparently was, "Get off me, please." And so I don't really see this woman again, and I head back into the car, and my mom comes back into the car with some sandwiches, and she asks me, "What did you do to that woman?" And in true wounded fashion, I said, "Nothing, Mom." God. And she said, because I overheard them in line, and she said, "Well, down here, we help people. I guess that's why they call them massholes." And normally, I'd be really embarrassed by yelling at strangers. and would feel bad for making this woman feel this way and not representing the great state of Massachusetts in the way I should. But this masshole had just taken all her usual grace and kindness, falling with style, so she can get off me, please. Thank you.